Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If she suddenly goes cold, if her messages shrink, her tone flattens, her eyes pull back just a little, and your chest tightens with that quiet panic. What if I told you that in some cases, that distance is not rejection, but protection? Before we go deeper, take 1 second, subscribe, like this video, not for me, but because what you're about to understand will change the way you see her silence forever. You've been taught that warmth equals interest and coldness equals indifference. That's the simple equation most men live by. But human emotion is not simple, especially not a woman's emotional system when she feels something powerful. Here's what most men never see. When a woman feels too much, her nervous system doesn't always move closer. Sometimes it retreats. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares so intensely that it scares her. Love, real attachment, creates vulnerability. And vulnerability feels like risk. Risk of being hurt, risk of losing control, risk of needing someone. Some women handle that by leaning in. Others handle it by pulling back. If she goes cold right after a moment of deep connection, if she withdraws after you open up, if she becomes distant when things start to feel real, you might be witnessing emotional overwhelm, not emotional absence. And here's where you make the mistake. You chase harder, you demand clarity, you try to force reassurance. You interpret her quiet as a verdict on your worth. But sometimes her silence is her heart trying to regulate itself. Men often think love is pursuit. For many women, love is exposure, and exposure can feel terrifying. I'm not saying every cold shift means love. Some women truly disengage. But when the pattern follows intimacy, depth, or emotional escalation, that's not random. That's fear of losing control over how much she feels. And when a woman is afraid of how deeply she feels for you, she doesn't always run away from you. Sometimes she steps back to protect herself from the intensity of wanting you too much. You need to understand something most men never pause long enough to see. When she goes cold, your instinct is to measure effort. You look at response times, word counts, emoji usage. You analyze like a detective building a case. But emotion does not operate on logic. It operates on safety. When a woman begins to feel deeply attached, her brain scans for danger. Not because you are dangerous, but because attachment itself is. The more she values you, the more she has to lose. This is where her behavior shifts. She may slow down communication. She may act slightly indifferent. She may seem less expressive than she was just weeks ago. And you assume attraction is fading. But often, attraction is stabilizing into something heavier. The early stage of connection is light, playful, and thrilling. There is no risk yet, no real emotional investment. But once she starts imagining you in her future, once she pictures you meeting her friends, knowing her flaws, seeing her vulnerable moments, that's when reality hits. Now it matters. And when it matters, fear enters. Fear of being disappointed, fear of not being chosen, fear of giving more than she receives. So what does she do? She unconsciously tests the emotional temperature. She cools the dynamic slightly to see if you remain grounded. She pulls back to see if you panic. She becomes less available to check whether you value yourself enough not to overextend. This is not manipulation, it's self-protection. A woman who feels nothing doesn't test stability, she simply drifts away. A woman who feels too much, she regulates. And here is the part you must master. If you respond to her cooling with desperation, you confirm her fear that attachment leads to instability. If you respond with calm confidence, emotional steadiness, and quiet self-respect, you become safe. Safety is not created by constant attention, it's created by emotional control. When she senses that you are not shaken by minor shifts, that you do not crumble at distance, that you maintain your rhythm without punishing or chasing her, something powerful happens. Her nervous system relaxes. Because now she sees that loving you will not cost her emotional chaos. And when that realization settles in, her warmth returns, not as flirting, but as something deeper, something intentional, something rooted, something that grows quietly, but lasts. Here's the truth most men never hear, and it will feel like a shock if you've been conditioned to chase validation. When she goes cold, It often has nothing to do with her attraction to you. It has everything to do with the intensity of her feelings. Think about it this way. When a woman starts caring too much, it triggers a paradox. The more she wants to express love, the more vulnerable she feels. And vulnerability can feel unsafe in a world that teaches women to protect their hearts at all costs. So, when she steps back, it's not rejection. It's self-regulation. It's her mind saying, I care too much. I'm not ready to fully show it yet. I need to make sure this is safe. And here's what most men get wrong. They interpret this self-regulation as a game, as manipulation, or worse, as disinterest. You might notice yourself overthinking, did I do something wrong? Why is she distant? Is she losing interest? The truth is, her coldness is often a silent scream of affection, a signal that her emotions are more powerful than she knows how to handle. Men crave clarity. We want to see love in action, to feel validation in words, texts, or gestures. Women, however, sometimes communicate love in absence. The withdrawal is her way of testing the depth of your steadiness, your patience, and your capacity to hold space for her without needing constant reassurance. Now, here's the critical shift in perspective. Instead of reacting with anxiety, understand that her distance is an invitation. It's an invitation to remain grounded, to become the man who can withstand emotional intensity without losing his center. The men who panic when she goes cold are invisible to her emotional radar. She sees their instability and their neediness. That insecurity pushes her away further because attachment cannot grow in fear. But the man who observes, who remains emotionally steady, who does not chase, who does not plead, he becomes irresistible. He becomes the safe harbor she secretly longs for, the anchor in her storm of overwhelming feelings. And here's the final, subtle truth. Sometimes, love is quiet and love is patient. Her coldness does not mean the fire has gone out. It means the fire is too intense to be handled carelessly, and she's hoping secretly that you can stand the heat. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men completely miss the hidden signals she's sending. When a woman pulls back after closeness, she is not playing a game. She is protecting something sacred, her emotional investment in you. She's standing at the edge of a cliff. Her feelings are so intense that one wrong step could feel like losing control. Notice how she might seem distracted, less responsive, or even a little irritable. That's not lack of interest, that's her internal struggle. She wants to reach out, to show love, but part of her fears how much she's already attached. Here's a subtle but crucial point. Women process emotional intensity differently than men. When you express care, openness, or vulnerability, it can feel like a tidal wave to her system. If she's already deeply connected, her mind may instinctively pull back just to regain equilibrium. It's her brain saying, I love him too much. I can't let this consume me entirely. Men often misinterpret this pause as rejection. But rejection is definitive. Coldness born from deep love is temporary, cyclical, and always tethered to attachment. And here's the psychological leverage you can harness. If you respond with patience, emotional consistency, and self-respect, you don't just survive her coldness, you amplify her attraction. Because women don't love fear, they love security. They don't admire panic, they admire calm. So, when she retreats, resist the urge to chase. Resist the temptation to overanalyze every text, call, or glance. Your emotional steadiness becomes the container that allows her feelings to exist safely. Think of it like this. She's offering you a test without words. Not to manipulate, but to measure your capacity for emotional maturity. Can you hold your own? Can you remain grounded when her intensity pushes the boundaries of your comfort? Most men fail this test without even knowing it. They overreact, beg for clarity, or try to force communication. That fear-driven response only validates her concerns and makes her pull away further. But the man who remains composed, who does not try to control her, who continues living with his own purpose and standards, he becomes magnetic. She may seem distant now, but her mind and heart are already preoccupied with you. Her coldness is a symptom of attachment, not absence. The stronger you stand in calm confidence, the faster she reconciles her fear with her feelings. And when she does, the warmth you'll feel from her will be richer, more profound, and more loyal than anything you've experienced in the early stages of dating. Here's a truth that most men never hear. When a woman goes cold, it's often the clearest proof that she cares more than she can express. Think about it. If her feelings were shallow, fleeting, or indifferent, she wouldn't bother pulling back at all. She would simply drift, fade, or vanish. Coldness born from love is very different. It is deliberate. It is a reaction to emotional overwhelm. It is her way of managing feelings that are too intense to show openly. Notice how her behavior often becomes a puzzle. She smiles at you one moment, then retreats the next. She reaches out in subtle ways but keeps a layer of distance. She may even test your patience without realizing it. These are not contradictions. They are the signals of attachment fighting with fear. When she does this, she is secretly asking herself, can I trust him? Can he handle me at my deepest? Will he love me even when I'm not at my easiest? Every pause, every distant glance, every moment of coldness is a measurement of your steadiness. This is where most men fail. They interpret her distance as a personal slight or a reflection of their worth. They overanalyze every message, every reaction, and in doing so, they project their insecurities onto her behavior. But if you can shift your perspective, you'll see the exact opposite. Her coldness can be a sign that she is deeply invested, perhaps more than she can manage comfortably. It means her heart is leaning toward you, even if her actions appear to push you away. The key is emotional restraint. Do not overcompensate. Do not flood her with attention. Do not plead for reassurance. Instead, cultivate presence, patience, and self-respect. Stand firm in your own value, keep your life full and purposeful, and let your confidence act as a silent magnet. Ironically, the less you chase, the more she is drawn to you. The steadier you remain in the face of her coldness, the more her nervous system will begin to relax, allowing her love to emerge naturally. And here's the hidden magic. When she finally lets go of the fear that made her withdraw, her love doesn't just return, it deepens. It becomes intentional, deliberate, and fiercely loyal. The coldness isn't the end. It's the crucible through which her heart tests both her courage and yours. This is why understanding female psychology in moments like this is crucial. If you respond poorly, attachment diminishes. If you respond wisely, attraction skyrockets. The choice is yours. Now, let me reveal something most men never realize. When she pulls away, she's not punishing you. She's protecting herself and, secretly, protecting the relationship. Her mind is running simulations faster than you can follow. If I give too much, will he leave? If I show too much, will I seem needy? If I open up completely, can he handle all of me? These are the questions she doesn't say out loud, but they shape every pause, every distant message, every subtle withdrawal. And here's the nuance most men miss. Love can be overwhelming for women just as much as it is intoxicating. It's not the thrill of romance they fear, it's the exposure that comes with it. The more she feels, the more vulnerable she becomes. And vulnerability triggers instinctual self-protection. So when she steps back, her heart is still tethered to you. Her mind is still thinking about you. Her emotions are still deeply involved. She just needs to regulate them before she can express them safely. Men instinctively interpret this as a problem and react with anxiety, over-messaging, or attempts to control. But that behavior pushes her further away because it validates her fear. If I show too much, he might panic or judge me. The smart approach is counterintuitive. You do not chase, you do not panic, you do not over-explain. Instead, you become the calm in her storm. You maintain your standards, you keep your life full, you communicate only from a place of clarity, purpose, and self-respect. By doing this, you give her the unconscious reassurance she craves. You prove that loving you will not mean losing herself or entering chaos. That stability is more attractive than words or gestures could ever be. Here's the psychological truth. Women are wired to attach more deeply when they sense safety. Coldness is often the test, not the withdrawal of love. When she sees that your confidence does not waver, that your value is consistent regardless of her distance, her nervous system begins to relax. And when that happens, the love she has been holding back doesn't just return, it intensifies. It becomes anchored in trust, safety, and admiration. What looked like rejection was really her heart whispering, "I'm afraid of how much I feel. Can he handle it?" The key for you is to meet her coldness with steadiness. Not chase, not overanalyze, not panic. Just presence, confidence, and quiet strength. That is the silent language she responds to, the language of deeper attachment and genuine love. Here's the reality that will change how you see her coldness forever. When she pulls away, it is often the strongest signal of hidden love, not a lack of it. Men mistake emotional retreat for rejection because they are focused on output, the texts, the calls, the immediate validation. Women, however, operate differently. Their emotional system prioritizes safety over expression, intensity over quantity, and depth over surface-level signals. When a woman goes cold, it's usually after she has felt something she cannot easily contain. That sudden pullback? It's her mind trying to regain equilibrium. Her love is so strong, so consuming, that she needs space to process it without feeling vulnerable or exposed. Think about it psychologically. Attachment triggers the same survival instincts as physical danger. Her brain doesn't differentiate between fear of loss and fear of emotional overwhelm. Both feel threatening, both create a need to step back, and both are directly proportional to the intensity of her feelings for you. This is why men often fail. They see the coldness and react emotionally. They chase, they plead, they try to extract reassurance, and in doing so, they confirm her subconscious fears, that emotional closeness equals instability. But if you understand the truth, that her distance is not disinterest, but emotional regulation, you can flip the dynamic entirely. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of chasing, you stabilize. Instead of demanding, you demonstrate that you can handle the intensity of her feelings without being shaken. Here's the paradox. The more intensely she feels, the more her love is hidden under layers of self-protection. The more you can remain composed, confident, and grounded, the more her attachment grows, quietly, under the surface. Her coldness becomes a mirror, reflecting not her lack of love, but the depth of it. And when she finally allows herself to re-engage fully, it isn't the shallow warmth of early attraction. It's intentional, it's measured. It's the product of fear giving way to trust, and that trust creates love that lasts. So, every time you feel that quiet distance, remember, she isn't walking away from you, she's trying to navigate how deeply she feels. And if you meet her with patience, calm, and strength, you become the man she trusts with her heart. The man she secretly can't stop thinking about, even when she appears cold. Her love is already there, you just have to recognize it. Now, let me leave you with the final truth most men never hear, the one that separates those who confuse coldness with rejection from those who experience a woman's deepest love. When she goes cold, it's rarely about you being inadequate. It's about her emotions being too powerful to manage in the moment. It's her subconscious saying, "I love him too much. I'm afraid of how much I feel. I need space to process this intensity." And this is where men make the critical mistake. They react with neediness, over-explanation, or pressure. They misinterpret her distance as a loss of interest, and that panic creates exactly the instability she fears. The men who understand this see her coldness differently. They recognize it as a hidden signal of attachment. They see it as an opportunity to demonstrate emotional strength, patience, and confidence, qualities that are far more attractive than words or gestures ever could be. The key is simple but powerful. Remain grounded. Continue living your life with purpose. Maintain your emotional equilibrium. Respond to her messages and her presence from a place of strength, not fear. Do not chase, do not plead, do not demand clarity. Let your actions communicate stability, value, and self-respect. When she observes your steadiness, her nervous system begins to relax. That cold distance, the tension you felt in the silence, starts to dissolve. And when it does, the love she has been holding back doesn't just re-emerge, it deepens. It becomes deliberate, loyal, and unwavering. Understand this. Her withdrawal is a test of your emotional maturity, not a verdict on your worth. If you meet it with calm confidence, you become the safe harbor she subconsciously longs for. You become the man she can trust with her heart fully, without fear of losing herself. So next time she goes cold, don't panic, don't chase, don't overthink. Instead, anchor yourself in self-respect, presence, and steady confidence. That is the language of deep attraction. That is the signal she is waiting for. Because when she finally lets her walls down, you won't just experience a woman's affection, you'll experience the depth of a love that she's been holding inside all along, too strong to reveal until she knew you could handle it. She doesn't avoid you, she loves you, more than you realize, more than she can sometimes show. And if you understand this, everything changes.